Hey there, Jen Roselle here at the Lunch and Learn in downtown Strasburg at the gazebo. And I guess the clouds moved because the sun just now came out and I feel like I'm a little bit blinded. Alright, so golly gee, it's been a long summer, hasn't it? We started these weekly Lunch and Learns. What was it? I guess it was like the first week of July, or like right after the kids got out of school in June, and we started in July. Hey there, thanks for joining me, you guys. So I kind of wanted to, for this last one of the summer session, I wanted to just kind of do like a little wrap up of the things that we've talked about and just give you guys some resources. So I got myself some little notes here. So the first week that we got together, we talked about immune support, and actually this time of year would be a really good time to revisit that. This is definitely the time of year when sometimes things start spreading around and it's time to boost our immune support. Actually, any time of the year is a good time to boost your immune support. The next week we talked about digestive support. And, oh, I see my mama joined me. Hey, Mom. So the second week we talked about digestive support and some things that we can do to help with our digestion. And actually our immune system and our digestive system are really closely linked together. So when you support one, you support the other. And that is why I did those the way that I did them. The next week we talked about sleep and getting good sleep and some things that we can do to like help get better sleep. So hopefully everyone is sleeping like a little baby now, which I always joke and say, if you're sleeping like a baby, does that mean that you're waking up and crying every 2 hours? Alright, the next week we talked about back to school, which I really didn't think we'd be talking about back to school that early in the summer session, but Shenandoah County decided that they were going to go back to school the first week of August, which to me is like insanity. But there's all kinds of things that, as mamas that we can do to help support our kids with going back to school, and even like as the mama getting ready to send your kids back to school can be a little bit stressful as well. So we talked about all that type of support. And then the next week we talked about having a healthy home, and my goodness, I have a whole workshop on healthy home. So if that's something, if you definitely want to dig down and learn more about all of the ways that we can help keep the harsh chemicals out of our home environment, that's a workshop that I do the beginning of the month. It's the first Thursday of each month. I call it Kicking Chemicals to the Curb. So there's all kinds of natural alternatives that we can use for cleaning and keeping our homes healthy, and we don't have to use all the yucky chemical stuff. The next week we talked about emotional support, and this is probably an area that a lot of people, when it comes to essential oils, it's kind of a fuzzy area, and they're like, how does all that work? Like, I heard that, if people, I'm trying to stay compliant here, just certain conditions that normally people go through, and that using essential oils is actually really supportive. So that's I have a whole other workshop on how you can use the essential oils for emotional support. The next one, I believe we're probably going to have that one the third Thursday in October. So the first Thursday of the month we have a healthy home, and then the third Thursday of the month the topic kind of rotates around a little bit. So I think we're probably going to be doing the emotional support again in October. And then so back to our weekly sessions. After the emotional support, we then did a little talk on aromatherapy and animals. And there's all kinds of essential oils that we can use to help support our animals. I use them on my dog. We diffuse them in the home to help support the dog and the cat. And then there's also like Young Living has a whole line of animal scents products that are fantastic for using on your pets. So and a lot of people maybe they never had children, or they're empty nesters and their children are gone, and so their four-legged fur babies are their children, and you know, they treat them as such. So I'm not an empty nester quite yet, but my four-legged baby is definitely my little girl. Alright, so after we talked about aromatherapy in animals, we talked about vitality oils and cooking, and how you can use the vitality oils in all kinds of recipes. And so right now I'm working on a little ebook that I'm thinking about doing, you know, 30 days of soups, but I might want to break it down into like little smaller groups, and maybe just do seven recipes at a time, and we'll just sort of stack it together, and then at the end of the month you'll have all 30 days of soup recipes. But a lot of these recipes are going to be using vitality oils for the spices, so stay tuned for that. Okay, and then the last week we got together, we talked about the iTovi Nutrition Tracker, and that's a really cool little device that it works like how a Fitbit works, where it measures your galvanic skin response to this electronic frequency algorithm, and it will come back with a really cool little report, and it'll tell you exactly which Young Living products your body most needs. So this is something that I offer as a service to people on my team and people in my local area. It is something where, like, we can't really do it virtually, we have to do it in person. So if you're close, you know, located close to me here in the beautiful Shenandoah Valley, by all means, you know, connect with me and we can get together, and the first scan that I do is always complimentary, and most following scans can be complimentary as well, unless you're like just not on the team and you don't purchase any products at all. Then there would be a charge for it, but I'm not really sure why that would happen. So for the most part, it's going to be complimentary, or you're going to be able to earn it for free. Alright, so, and then this week, this is the final week of the summer season, so I wanted to just, you know, just do a little wrap up of all the things that we talked about, and then give you guys some information about how we can stay connected. I've been looking at my schedule, and planning on moving the Lunch and Learn away from, we were doing it on every Tuesday, but then on the third Tuesday I have a lunch meeting, so this is the third week, so we have it on Monday. So I'm trying to do it so that we don't have like all these exceptions, so people can easily follow. So in October, I'm going to do Lunch and Learns on Friday. So Friday at noon, we'll have a little get together, and it'll be like this, where it's just going to be like 10 or 15 minutes of me chatting. If you guys have questions, by all means, like, you know, ask the questions. Hopefully I'll be able to see your questions. Right now I just see that, you know, a couple people have, maybe they're viewing the video, but I don't see any questions, so that's fine, because sometimes I don't see the questions until after I end the video, and then I'll go back and answer them. So some ways for us to stay connected. I do have a group on Facebook that I can add you to. It's a closed group, and it's called Living in Abundance, and I did post in my in this event, the Lunch and Learn event, I did post like a little link to the group. So if that's something you'd like to stay connected and see the recipes and tips and just all kinds of things that you can do with, we have a huge line of products in Young Living. So it's not just essential oils, there's a whole lot of, it's just everything that you would need to live a healthier life. So if you want to stay connected with the tips and the training, by all means go ahead and click that you want to join the group, and I'll go ahead and add you in. There's also a Facebook page, like a business page for Living in Abundance, and I share some things out there, but as far as the up close and personal, most of it is done inside the group. And let's see what else. Oh, if you guys haven't visited my website yet, like, I would totally encourage you to do that. I've been making some little tweaks to it. So, you know, if you have suggestions on, you know, maybe you don't really like that font, or something needs to be moved around, or I don't know, just whatever suggestions you might have, I'd be open to hear them. But oh my goodness, my website has just a ton of information. Like, there's pretty much every question that anybody would ask me as a newbie can be answered by going to my website. So my website is www.yldist.com. facebook.com/livinginaabundance. And I'll go ahead and I'll post a link here below this video also for you guys to be able to go out and check out the website. You can send me messages from the website. Of course, you can always post on here, or if you want to connect with me on Facebook, that would be cool too. I also have an Instagram account, and I post some things out there. Here lately, I haven't really posted that much. Consistency, it's so difficult. Alright, well, I'm not really sure how long I've been on here. It's probably been the 10 to 15 minutes, and that's what I really like, to keep these short and semi-sweet, semi-tart. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here. I got a super busy day. I got all kinds of things I got to get done today. So if you post a comment, I'm probably not going to see it until this evening. But just again, I want to thank you guys for joining me on the live stream, and thank you to everyone who watches the replay. And the next Lunch and Learn that I'm going to be doing is going to be the first Friday of October. Alright, see you guys. Bye.